Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a Let's Build video. What are Let's Build videos and what they're about? I basically take a model kit and I'll show you how to put it together. I do this for various reasons. Now you might have problems reading instructions, or they might be just really confusing instructions, or you might suffer with dyslexia. It's a visual way to help you guys. There could be mistakes on the sprue where things are numbered up wrong. Again, this is a visual way to help you guys. So if I find something wrong, I can show you. If I make a mistake in the model, I can show you how easy the mistake is to make, and you can avoid making that mistake. If you're interested in a new army, this is a visual way to show you how these models are built. Or if you have an army and you go, I really want to get this model, but I'm not, I don't know how, it looks really hard to build. Again, this is a visual way to show you how easy and accessible these models are for you guys. So all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. Right, so what am I building in this video? I thought I'd start off with a bang, and we're going to start with this guy, the Silent King. He's been sitting up behind me for a little while now. I've had a quick look at the instructions, and I tell you what, it is an insane kit. I know I keep saying I need to stop doing big builds, but I thought, no, let's get this guy done, get him out of the way, because that is an impressive sculpt to begin with. Absolutely amazing. So if you're new here, what I do is I'm going to finish setting up, and I'll run you through what we do. We look at the sprue, we look at the rules that come in with the instructions to give you an idea how to use it. But I'm going to finish getting set up, because you see there's a big massive box in front of me full of sprues. Right, before we start looking at the sprue, or sprues, we're going to have a look at the stat line. Now, I had a quick look at this. This is very dirty. When I say dirty, I mean like very, very strong. It's actually a super heavy in the codex, which is bonkers, but you'll see why in a second. There's a movement of 8. Yeah. Weapon skill 2 in close combat. Weapon shooting is 2+. Strength 5, toughness 7, 16 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 10, and a 3-up armor save. Now, I don't know if they have, imagine he has an invulnerable save. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but I would also imagine they have living metal where they just regenerate wounds every turn, which is disgusting in itself. Now, this little mechanism, there's 2 of them that go with him. They form a unit together. They are movement 8, so the same speed as him. 6+ to hit in close combat. 2+ with shooting, which is absolutely dirty when I show you the weapon profile. Strength 5, toughness 7, 5 wounds, 1 attack apiece, 10 leadership 10, and 3-up armor save. Now, this dirty little thing, there's 2 of them that come with him. Their weapon is a 36-inch range, blast 1. Okay, it's not too bad, so it's 1 shot apiece, needing 2s to hit. It's strength 12, -4 AP and 6 wounds, 6 damage apiece. So potentially they could do 12 damage just from those 2. So your big unit of Chaos Terminators or Special Unit Terminators could disappear. The unit of like a Dreadnought or something like that just takes some serious damage from that. And then we have number 2, which is the Silent King's weapon. He has 2 profiles, shooting and close combat, as you'd imagine. So shooting is 24-inch range, assault 3, even though it's not really going to matter because it's 8-inch movement, so you're not going to advance him that often. Well, very rarely, should I say, you're going to advance him. The shooting has a strength 8, -3 AP, and 2 damage apiece. So essentially, he could pump out 6 damage just from himself. So far, potentially, we're talking 12, 18 damage. That's absolutely stupid. The third weapon, that's what this little dude has. Now, which is this guy here. Okay, you ready for this? 24-inch range, assault 9. Yes, you saw that right. Assault 9, strength 6, -2 AP, and 1 damage apiece. So potentially this model in shooting phase could push out 27 damage. That is an insane amount of output. That's without any other little sneaky little skills he has and stuff like that. That is just absolutely bonkers. Now the Silent King's weapon in close combat has +4 to his strength, so that will make him strength 9, -3 AP, and it's 2 damage apiece. Now bear in mind he has 6 attacks. So in close combat, 6 attacks, that could be 12 damage just from him. Then number 5 is the other guy who doesn't have a shooting attack, which is this guy here. He just has close combat attack. It gets +3 to his strength, -4 on the AP, and 3 damage apiece. Now I don't know, because on here it's only got the Sonic King's profile, so I don't know if you choose which one's going to attack or if all 3 of them can attack in close combat. I'm not sure. I have to look in the codex, because potentially there's 3 models there. There's 3 models in that unit plus these 2 guys. So it's a 5 model unit essentially, but I don't know, in honesty. If they all can, which I think they should be able to, that's quite dirty already, just between Sonic King and him. And the other guy, this guy's close combat attack, his strength the same as the user, so just not that's Sonic King strength, so it would be something, whatever it is, -2 AP and 1 damage apiece. So it's not that great, but he has a shooting attack, so you can't really complain. If it is only 1 model can attack from here, then obviously Sonic King's going to be the one that steps forward with his 6 attacks, and he's disgusting profile there. Number 4, +4 strength, -3 AP, and 2 damage apiece. Right. So with that said, let's look at the sprues now. Now, if you're new here, what we do now is we look at the sprue and ascertain what parts are, what bits are what bits, so we can eliminate them from as we go along. Now, usually if there's some sort of basing material on the sprue, we could take that off first of all and put it together once, glue it together and put it on the base, as long as it doesn't interfere with putting the rest of the model together. But there's so many sprues here, it's just bonkers. So this is one of those little things that accompany him. I'm presuming that they go together, yeah, because it's 106, 107, so I'm assuming they go together. Wow, there's just so many bits, I couldn't even tell you. They look like steps, which is quite handy enough. These look like legs, even though I don't think it has legs, it's meant to hover. Here's another sprue. This one looks very similar, if not, no, it's not the same, it's just very similar. Again, same as some of the similar bits on it. There's a few more steps there. I think it's very similar. Yeah, it's very similar. It's not identical, it's just very similar. Now this seems to be the easiest sprue, because we have Sonic King's cloak. Yeah, we have the Catan shard piece that's there. That goes on top of the model. There's some more of the Sonic King's cloak. There's body parts and arms and legs and... oh dear me. Look at Catan's face. Look at that, it's amazing. There's a few of those weapons. There's one. There's another one. And there's a third weapon. I don't know if I've bitten off a bit more I can chew here, but it doesn't matter. This guy has to be built. He has to be built. He has to be put together, because there's no good me having him and he's sitting up behind me. I have to have him built. I have to get him painted, because he has to go on the table. Let's just start being used, and no point having a ground centerpiece model like this, not even like this, but sitting in a box, not even seeing sunlight. It needs to be built. So I'm going to finish setting up and getting the first few pieces, find the first few pieces and sort out, because you can see there's 3 massive sprues there. So I'll come back to you in a second, guys. Right, so I'm going to actually go a little bit crazy, and I'm going to start with these bad boys. Two reasons why. One, they're very quick and easy to get off and clean and sort and glue together. And not only that, they're going to give you more motivation because they're done and they start looking at the next pieces, and it clears them off the sprue. So you're not looking around the sprue looking for something, you're looking at these pieces and they keep catching your eye because they're massive pieces and there's some detail on that writing on there. Anyway, so they're both the same in the sense that they're both 103. I thought they're 106, 107, but they're 103, 104. Okay, and these bits 106, 107 go with them. So I'm going to start with one. I'm going to snip it off, clean it down, and then show you how it goes together. I'll do one of them on camera. The other one is exactly the same. So I'll do it off camera. The only thing I might have to do is show you where the bit is for it, because it may be in a weird place. But I'm going to come back to you in a second, guys. Sorry, guys. In all of my excitement, I forgot to talk about one very important thing. Tools needed. Mold line scraper. Now you can use a hobby knife or some sort of blade, but just be careful with using a blade because they are sharp. And if there's people in the house, let them know you're using the blade so nobody scares you by accident. You cut yourself. Clippers, which is all part of our tool. Now I use, I'm not going to use this because it's all worn, but I use sanding sponge, okay, which is sponge with bits of sandpaper inside. You can get it from a hardware shop, I believe in the painting decorating section. And it is a plastic kit, so plastic glue. However, I always have super glue to hand just in case. I thought I'd show you that, but I haven't cleaned these guys down yet, but I'm going to show you how they go together. There's just slots in there. Very straightforward. You see I haven't cleaned down yet, it's still the horrible lines on it. So I'm going to get on with cleaning this down, and I'm going to come back to you then for the next piece. Before I glue that in, I'm going to check because there might be the piece might have to, yeah, it does actually. It's a piece that goes in the middle, and you glue them together. But I'm going to clean these down and come back to you with that piece and everything else. Now the other part we need is 105, which is this crazy little piece, and we need 106 and 107. So I'm going to snip all three of those pieces off, clean them down, and especially with this piece, this is where sanding sponge comes into its own, because if there's any casting lines along this little piece, it's easier to clean. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and I'll show you how all the bits go together. Right, so let's just start on. These two little pieces, 106, 107, 106 goes this side, 107 goes that side. So these are the parts needed for it. Basically this goes in here, just connects into there like that. It's very, very self-explanatory. And that little piece goes in there, see it? That glues in there. And this piece goes over the back there. Then these little pieces glue in here. Okay, now I will tell you with this, there are some horrible mold lines. Now this little bit down needs to get still. But there is the horrible mold lines across the flat surface, as you'd imagine. So I'm going to glue these together and come back to you. I'm going to glue this together, come back and show you where the parts are for the other one of these. From what I can see, it's the same numbers, but I'll show you where they are on the sprue, and then we'll move on to the starting his actual throne. Right, I don't know why, but these pieces go like that. So it's hollow in the middle, but that's actually, it's meant to go like that, so it's meant to line up and be perfectly flat. Like curves. So that's that one done. Now it just glues into the base. There's 2 40mm bases in the box. So I'm going to put some glue on there, and it should be freestanding. There we go. That, wow. to be honest with you, when I had that in my hand, oh, it looks great, it's fantastic, yeah. Putting it on the base and seeing the size of it. Let me look at the vellum corner next to it. This is a big model, but look at this model next to it. There's a clear difference in the height of it. Oh my goodness me! When I come to show you pretty pictures at the end, I put the brutalis. Let's have a look at the brutalis next to it. wow, it's even taller than the Brutalis Dreadnought. I don't know if you can make that out properly because of the angle of the camera, but wow. So I'll do pretty pictures at the end and just put a few things next to it and show you the height of it. That's insane. But anyway, I'm going to locate the other pieces on the sprue, point them out to you, and I'm going to clip them off and clean them and glue them, because I don't need to show you that on camera because I've just done this guy. Right, again, like I said at the beginning, there's two sprues that are very similar. Both of them have these things on them. So these two are for the next one, 106, 107, same thing again for the sides. And 105 is in the same location as it was on the other sprue. Okay, so that's in the same place, they're in the same place, and that's in the same place, but there's a few bits different throughout the whole sprue. So snip, clean, glue, I'll come back to you for the next bit. Now, so the first piece we need is this piece. Then there's two of these pieces, because there's two sprues that are very, very similar. So this is on either one, and they're both numbered up as number 1. Okay, so don't panic which one you take. So this piece is the first piece we need. And we need, where's he gone now? Number 7, which is this piece up here. Okay, but this is on the other sprue. Has the cloak on it and all that sort of stuff. Number 7. So number 1, number 7. I'm going to clip them off, clean them down, and I'll show you how they go together. Right. So to start with, it's very simple, and I'm hoping the rest of this build is as simple. There's a little square peg there. There's a little square hole. It just sits in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place, and then we'll come for the next piece. Right, the next part we need is number that's probably no, that's not. Yeah, that's a boo-boo on their behalf. Should be number 4, number 3, but that's marked up as 18. So let me just, oh no, there he is, sorry, there he is, number 3. Number 3's there, number 4. Now why they have that piece right next to it is very similar. I couldn't tell you, but just be aware that is number 18. So you need number 4 and number 3. I'm going to stiff them, clean them, and show you how they go together. And this is very easy. Let me drop in it. There's a hole in that one. Yeah. There's a pin in that one. So they just slot in like that. And you can see those little bits connect on. But there's 2 of these. So I'm going to glue this one on. Then I'm going to come back and show you where the other ones are. Right, this is the other sprue. You know, there's 2 sprues that are very similar. Again, the same thing again, number 4 and number 3. Exactly the same place these pieces are. So I'm going to snip those, clean those, and glue those. Right, next 2 pieces we need. This is on the other sprue that has the cloak on it. That's totally different to the other ones. We need number 9, which is this little leg, and number 8, which is this piece here. There's a little scarab on it. It looks actually fantastic. I'm going to snip those, clean those, and show you how they go together. Right, again, this is very straightforward. There's a little clip, there's a little hole that just glues in there. So I'm going to glue that in, and then I'll come back and show you the next bit. Right, so with these bits, I actually went ahead because they need sub-assembly. I didn't want to try and, where the leg has to glue onto, I didn't want to be trying to glue it on and it's coming apart. So that's why I went ahead on that. So now we're going back. The first pieces we need, number 2, which are this mad little piece here, but there's actually 2 of them. Okay, so I'm going to snip those, clean those, and I'll show you where they go. Right, so we go back to this first piece, and this is the way it goes. In here, there's these 2 little clips, top and bottom, so they're identical either side, and in there's 2 little bits that just sits in there. Okay, now this piece in itself, that's the inside piece, that's the outside piece. So that bit faces outwards. Okay, so I'm going to glue those both into place. One goes this side, the other one goes that side, and they're both identical, so it doesn't matter what one you use on what side. I'm going to glue them into place, and then we'll come back for the next part. Right, so this is why we did these first now, you'll see. So this that little strip there sits in that little strip there, just sits in there like that. Okay, that little piece has to stick out, and this is the same this side. Okay, just balance it there for a minute. Now this piece is another reason why we did this separately. This piece, this bit here, glues up in the middle there against that. Okay, so I'm going to glue all those pieces together, and then I'll come back for the next piece. That's why we did these bits separate first before we carried on with this, so these would be reasonably dry when we start messing around with them. See in a second. No, my apologies, I showed you this piece wrong. I said it goes in here. It doesn't, it goes under here. There's a little square for it to go into, just slots in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to dry and come for the next piece. The next piece we need is the other number 1. Okay, the little number's just there. It's very hard to see, but it's just there. I'm going to snip it, clean it, and show you where it goes. Right, again, this piece is very straightforward. It's the same as this, but it's opposite way around. So as you can see, there's a pin here, there's a hole here. There's a slots in there. They slot in the top there, and that's how it goes in. So I'm going to glue that on, and then we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so the next piece is needed are number 5 and number 6. Now there's 2 of these to make. One's on this sprue, and one is on the other sprue, should be. Where are we? Yeah, no, yeah. In exactly the same place. Yeah. So I'm going to snip this one off, clean it down and show you how it goes together, and then I'll do the other one off camera. Right, this is very straightforward again. There is a hole and a pin, and that glues into there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that together. I'll clip and clean the other one, glue that as well, and then I'll show you where they go onto the model. Right, and these are very simple as well. There's a little square in the middle there. There's a square peg on there. That literally just goes on there. Okay, you glue it in. It just sits there. So I'm going to glue them into place, one on each side, and then I'm going to rest it there, and I'll come back for the next piece. Right, so the next 2 pieces needed is number 15, which is this crazy ass piece here, yeah, and number 16, which is this piece here. So I'm going to snip them, clean them, and show you how they go together. Now this is very straightforward. So number 15 goes up like this. There's a little scab on the inside again. Take number 16 and it just slots in there. Okay, very straightforward. So I'm going to glue that into place, then I'll show you where it goes onto the big model. I'm very pleased so far how straightforward this is. So this is the piece, this circle piece slots into that circle piece. Okay, now what you want to do is try and have it so that this little bar here is lined up with the leg. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's be something like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place, and we'll come back down for the next piece. Right, now first glance at the instructions to this next piece, I was like, what the hell is this? Oh, it's very confusing, but it's not. It's very straightforward. It's the same as what we've just done, but the pieces are slightly different. So first we need number 19 and number 20, which are these 2 bad boys here. This is on the cloak sprue. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, it's very similar to the smaller ones, but this one has 2 holes. 2 holes. Glue in. So I'm going to glue that on, and we'll show you the next piece. Right, the next one needed is 18. You remember we took the one from up here and the one from down here? We need 18 now. There's 2 of these, so they're both on each one of the 2 sprues that are very similar. There's 1 on each. Okay, same location. So I'm going to snip it, clean it, and it goes on exactly the same way as the smaller ones. Yeah, being 1 hole at the top and 1 pin at the bottom with the square bit on the side there. Okay, so I'm going to snip them, clean them, glue them, and come back to you. They're very similar to the smaller ones. That square goes into that hole, okay, with one little raised bit at the top and one little raised bit at the bottom. So I'm going to glue that into place. Right, so the next one we need is 17, which is this crazy piece here. There's two of these again, so these are just sprues that are very similar. So I'm going to snip both of them off, clean them down, and show you how they go onto the piece that we're already working on. Right, again, this is very straightforward. A little square on top, there's a little square in there, just sits on there. One at the top, one at the bottom. So I'm going to glue them on and we'll come back for the next piece. Now, one thing I'm going to say with this, it doesn't show you the instructions, but I would imagine try and have them pretty much lined up as spot on as possible, because it's just going to be a funny thing that connects into something. Yeah, see like this little bit here, there's a bit of sprue on there. Don't worry about that, because when I glued this onto the leg, or onto whatever part of the body, part of this it goes onto, I drop a bit of plastic glue and just melt that away. So just have to try and wait for the glue to set. Try and have that as perfectly straight as possible. One cool thing about it, I can just stand it upright, leave it to dry. So the next piece is needed is number, where are you? I did see you a second ago. Is number, no, I've lost you now, number 21. Well, let me find it and I'll come back to you guys. Right, it's number 21, which is this tiny little piece. This is on the sprue that there's two of them. There's two of these. It's on the two sprues that look very similar. They're in exactly the same place. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's that one. There's that one. Totally same place. Yep. So I'm going to snip those off carefully because they're only a small piece. Give them a gentle sand down and I'll show you where they go. Right, so this is where the fun starts. So this little piece here, okay, I believe it's the same both sides. Yep. There's two little teeth and there's two little grooves and they sit into that groove on either side. So I'm going to glue them into place and then we're going to come back for the next piece. Now before we attach that piece on, let's see how it goes, and it's going to look wonky me. We need to go ahead a step and just sub-assemble these two pieces. So we need number 11, which is this leg, and number 10, which is this weird piece. Now there's two of these and two of these. We need to do both of them. Each set is on the sprue where each one of these sets is on the sprue, the two sprues that look similar. Okay, so I'm going to snip those off, clean those down. I'll show you how they go together. And this is the same as the first leg we did. So there's a little square, there's a square hole, there's a slot in there. Okay, now the reason we're doing this now is because when we come to glue it onto the actual body part, you don't want to glue it on and it just, I don't think it will come out because it is quite in there, quite snugly. But just in case, so I'm going to glue that in. I'm going to clean the other one off and glue it together as well, and then we'll go back onto that piece. So the next piece we need is number 15, which is the same as the piece we put on here. So I'm going to keep that off, clean it down and show you where it goes. Right, so this piece is very, very straightforward. There's a little square there. There's a little square there that clips into there, connects onto there. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place and I'm going to come back to you with the next piece. Right, so now it's time to put all these little pieces together. So this little piece connects on there. Okay, so those two bits at the top there, they line up. And these pieces, well, this one goes, these legs are the same, so it doesn't matter. It goes into the middle here. The same as the first one, straight into that little groove, straight into there. And the other one does the same on the other side. We're using the same leg because it's the same piece. So I'm going to glue them into place and I'm going to come back to you then for the next piece. Right, so the next piece needed is number 13, which is the other small leg, and number 12, which was located next to the other piece like here. Yeah, so I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and they go on exactly the same way. Okay, there's 2 of those, one on each of the sprues that look the same. So I'm going to snip both sets off, clean them both down, glue them together, and put them on the side, and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so whilst the legs are drying, the next one I need is number 22, which is up on the sprue with the cloak on it. In this top corner up here. I'm going to carefully snip that off, clean it down, and I'll show you where it goes. Now this piece is a little bit more thought about it. Okay, so my first one was that hollow piece goes on the back there. No, this little bit here slides on the top there, like so. That's it. Now, obviously, these 2 legs, they go in here, and the other one goes that side, respectively. The legs are both the same, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to leave it to dry for another 5 minutes or so, and then come back and glue those in, and I'll come back to you then with the next piece. Now, now it's starting to look like a kinetic construct of some description. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm actually surprised how easy it is to get to this stage. Just a few fiddly bits that there was. These little pieces, for example, and this little bit here is a little bit fiddly, but apart from that, it's looking good. So now I'm going to get the next 2 pieces together and show you what they are, where they are on the sprue. Right, the next 2 pieces we need is number 47, which is this piece. If you look just below it, there's the other piece on the other sprue. Okay, they're both numbered the same. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, this again is straightforward. See how it connects in, like so. Yeah, right, focus in. They just go in there like that. So I'm going to glue that together, and then come back to you, show you where it goes. Right, so this is a lovely piece. It sits there, like so. Doesn't look right on there. So this way around. Let's try it both ways. It just sits on there like that. Okay. So I'm going to glue that into place. Then I'm going to come back and show you where the next pieces are. So the next piece we need is number 23, which is this little piece here. Now again, this is on the sprue. There's 2 of them, so this is on the other sprue, same thing on the other sprue as well. So I'm going to snip this one off, snip the other one off, clean them down, and show you how they go together. And this goes on as simple as this. Yeah, so leave that to dry. I'll come back and show you the next piece. Right, so the next one we need is 24. Again, there's 2 of these, one on this sprue, one on the other sprue. I think the both sprues are identical actually. I think they are. Looking at them, yeah, I think these 2 sprues are identical. Yeah, so this one and the other one, clip them off, clean them down, show you how they go together. Right, so the same as the one before, the smaller one. This one goes together the same way. They just go in there. Like so. Obviously that's falling off. There goes. So I'm going to leave it to dry and then come back to the next piece. Right, so the next piece we need is this tiny little yoke here, 27. Again, there's one on this sprue and one on the other sprue. So I'm going to snip them down and clean them carefully. Now take note, you see like where the piece is, there's like a little square bit that comes off, then there's a sprue. You want to keep that little square bit on there, okay? There's another little square bit this side, and you'll see why when I put them together. And here's why you keep the square on there. So this basically goes in that little square there. Yeah. Now, if you're like me, very impatient to wait for glue to dry. That's one of my biggest faults when it comes to glue models. Don't wait for the glue to dry properly. That's how it should look. Okay. So I'll leave that to dry properly, and we'll go on to the next piece. Then the next piece is exactly the same, except number 28, which is, where are you? Number 25, sorry. There's 25. So again, there's two of these, and it's the same thing as this one, but instead of, it's number 28 now instead. Where is number 28? There's number 28. So this piece goes the same way as the others shown you, and this bit goes, this is 25, so two of these, they go together the same way, corner to corner. So I'm going to clip all that off, glue it all down, glue those onto that, and then I'll show you what you do next. Right, next two pieces we need are number 26, which is right next to the one we just took. So as you notice, these pieces are getting bigger and bigger. So I'm going to snip these off, clean these down, and these two bits glued together sideways as normal like the others, but there's no curvy bits going to them. So I'm going to snip them off, clean them down, and I'll show you what to do then. Right, so the next piece we need, we'll leave this to dry for a bit. Like I said, if you've got the patience, leave them to dry. I'm very impatient, so I'm actually moving on to the next piece that's needed to go with these guys, but just to give them a bit of an extra chance to dry. Next piece is number 14, which is this little half disc of swirl of energy. There's two of this, one on here and one on the other sprue. I'm going to clip them, clean them, and show you how they go together. Again, like most of the things on this build, just looks very intimidating, it's very straightforward. Yeah, they just slot in together. The top circle goes together, the bottom circle goes together. And when I glue it, I'm going to sew a little join line there. So I'm going to glue that now, and I'll come back and show you how the steps go on and all of that. Right, so now for the really fun part. So this is the first step. This is number 23 steps. Yeah, so there's two holes there. There's two little grooves sticking out there. They literally just slot on there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue them into place and come back for the next pieces. Right, I would advise leaving all this to dry properly before doing this. So this is the next one, which is the 224 steps, and these are the 25 steps. Now you see those little squares, you guessed it, they slide into there. Actually, it might be a good idea to do them before they're still wet a little bit, because they won't go in. I'm going to get these glued in, and then these two go into this one. So I'm going to glue them all together, and I'm going to come back to you and show you where we're at. Right, this is the most pain in the arse piece to do so far. Scrap what I said about waiting for it to dry, doing it. You're better off doing it with plastic glue that's still semi-wet, because as I was lining up, this one wasn't in properly, wasn't lined up properly, so I had to just give it a little nudge over. And even now it's like trying to lean forward, and I want it to stand upright like that. And that's how it should look. Okay, so I'm going to hold this for a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you how it connects onto the actual big boy himself. Right, again, this next bit is quite straightforward. There's two little bits sticking out there. There's two holes in there. They just sit on there, like so. So I'm going to glue that into place, and then come back for the last piece for this bit so far. Right, so that's where we're at. Looks absolutely fantastic. But the next part, so I'm going to put some glue in here. This centre piece, this middle piece underneath. On camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not shy of the glue in there, because it's going to hold this up, this piece, then slots in there. I'm giving it a little twist around just so it can push the glue around in the hole. Then on plastic glue around this whole base part. Now what I want to do, this is a tip for you guys, around the edge a bit more plastic glue, a bit thicker, yeah, as you can see. Just run some in the middle there. The reason for that is when I put them on the base, the edges will push out and it'll seal it even more to the base. Holy smokes. Now, there's a few legs that stick to that sit on the base with energy coming out, so I'm going to drop a bit of glue just around the base of that. That's pretty good. Don't mess with that. That's very good. Very good. I like it. Now what I'm going to do now is, I have to leave that to dry now, but I'm going to actually gravel that in an hour or so. When the base is dry, I'm going to gravel it so it's ready to go. But now it's going to be working on other bits that go on top now. And just looking at the instructions on the next page, these are loads of, not fiddly bits, but these are little bits that go together. In pieces that you wouldn't really think go together, but they go together and then they slide into this. So I said we'll leave it to dry for an hour or so, and I'll come back and carry on. Right, so the next two pieces we need is 33, which is this massive piece, okay, and 32, which is this piece. Now these two pieces are on the sprue with the cloak on it, so I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, like most things in this build, I keep saying this is very simple. There's pins and there's a little square yoke there. It literally just goes in there like that. Okay, push together. Now what I'm going to do, because there's a horrible join line going through the whole lot, I'm actually going to just run the glue along to just get rid of that. Right, so the next piece is needed is 49, which is this weird piece, 50, which is this piece, and 51, which is this half sphere. Okay, so I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, so this little piece just starts sitting there, and this piece has a hole at the top. There's a little male and female that goes in there. So that sits on in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that together, seal the join line, and come back and show you where it goes. Right, so now we've constructed that. That literally sits on there like that. Okay, so it sits. So the circle faces out. That funny weird shape faces that way. So I'm going to glue that into place, and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so before I go on to the next piece, I put that on wrong. It's meant to be like that, because you have the two circles there and the little side square piece there, and the same on the other side. I was looking at the wrong piece. I was looking at how to put that together and thinking that's how it goes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad I've corrected myself. So the next one needs 52 and 53. These two weird pieces. Now 52 is on this side, 53 is on that side. So I'm going to snip them off, clean them down, and show you how they go onto that piece. Right, this is how easy this is. This is 52. So that little yoke, as you can see, goes in there, and they just plug into there. So I'm going to glue that one. The other side is the same, so I'm going to glue those two on, and then come back to you for the next piece. Here we are. How fantastic that looks already. So the next piece is needed. I'm going to find them and show you where they are. Right, this is the next piece, 29. Yeah, there's two of these pieces, one on each of one of these sprues, because these two are identical sprues. That's what it looks like the other side, and I thought it was part of the platform. I was thinking, where's that going to go then? But that's the piece I need, 29. Okay, so I'm going to snip that off, clean it down on both sprues, and I'll show you how they go together. Now this is very bizarre. There's two lovely pieces, yeah, the other side they look like bolts. But this is how they go together. So one side faces, the other side's gone. Why not just make that piece, just make it thicker? I don't know why, but they go together like that. So I'm going to glue them together, and they come for the next pieces for this. Right, so the next pieces needed are on the cloak sprue. 30 and 31. These two tiny little pieces here. Now number 30 goes this side, number 31 goes that side. So I'm going to snip them down, clean them down, and I'm going to show you how one goes on and then just put both of them on. Right, so this is how this goes. On that side there's a little tiny piece, on that side there's a big piece. So a little tiny piece slots into that little tiny piece at the bottom there. I'll try and show you something like that. Yeah, and the other one goes on but the other way around. So I'm going to glue those into place, so paint the hole, and come back to you for the next piece. And the next piece we need is number 56, which is this piece here. That's on the cloak sprue. So I'm going to snip that off, clean that down, and show you how that goes together. Right, so this piece has a little thing there, and it's flat this side, but it's actually spinal column, so it actually slots on there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place. It's a bit of a weird piece, but I'm going to glue it into place and then come back for the next piece. Right, so the next part, we take that square, yeah, there's a square there, that just slots on there, like so. So I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the next piece. Right, we have a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Right, so the next pieces needed are number 40 and 41. Okay, this is number 41. And this one, there is no number on it at all. The 21 that's there is for that small piece. There's no number on this at all. I even checked the other side. There's no number on it at all. Just double check that I can't. There's no number because the 21 is for that piece there. 46 is that. 66 is that piece. And that's 41. Now notice that piece. For two reasons. One, because this is the sprue where there's two of them, and I need this put together twice. Okay, and there's no more pieces like this anywhere. Also, I can see here, and I can see on the instructions, it's the piece I need. So GW, there's no number on here. For a €120 kit, this should be, you know, you should be able to see the numbers on there from a little distance away. Anyway, I'm going to snip these two pieces off and show you how they go together. But it's this one and the same two again on the other sprue. But I'm going to do this one on camera and then do the other one off camera. Right, very straightforward. Pin onto pin, goes on like that. Okay, I believe that's the front. And I believe that's the back. But I'm going to glue them in and I'll come to the next piece that goes onto this. I've decided I'm going to build all of this one and show you how to do it, and then do the other one off camera because it's the same bits that you used. Right, so the next piece we need is number 39, which is this crazy little thing here. I think, look at the sprue, I think that you've got the big square there, then the medium square and the little square. I think the medium square has to stay. Okay, so I think the bottom little bit is where the sprue finishes. So I'm going to snip that bottom piece off and just leave the big one and the medium one. That's why it looks of it to me. And then I'm going to clean it down and show you how it goes on. This goes on very straightforward, guys. So that's the front, that's the back. Okay, so the front, underneath here, there's those tiny little strider marks. There's strider marks there, that just sits in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the next two pieces that go to this. Right, so the next two pieces that go into this are 42 and 43. Now, this is the difference between the two of them. The first one that I'm building, 42, goes in the top hole, yeah, and 43 goes in the bottom hole because that's upside down, yeah. And with the other one, 43 goes in the top and 42 goes in the bottom. So the one I'm making first of all, 42 goes in the top and 43 goes in the bottom. So I'm going to do that first and then come back to you, show you where it goes. Right, so this first one, because these are piping, tubes or whatever, bends round that way. Because the other one goes the same, and when they slot in to one side. So I'm going to clean that one down, glue it into place, because that's 42, 43. I'll glue it into place and then I'll show you where it goes on that structure there. That's another reason why I love using plastic glue. So these two bits, there's two little funny squares on there, yeah? They slot into there. As you can see, the top one's slotting in, but the bottom one isn't. Because it's plastic glue, I've still got some play with it, so I'm going to put glue in there and just fiddle it around until I get it into place. We literally just... Oh, okay, I see now. That little piece as well. It locks it into place. That's pretty clever. So I'm going to glue that into place and then come back and show you the, well, I'll only show you the other piece. But the other one of these is exactly the same, but it's for this side. So instead of bending that way, the wires bend that way. Okay, so I'm going to glue this in, put the other one together and glue it into place, and then come back to you then for the next pieces. Right, so here's where we're at with that. Looks absolutely fantastic. The next piece is needed, and number 34, which is one of these, 35, which is this piece, and 36, which is this piece. Yeah. Then there's two sets of these, so I'm going to show you how to put this one together, and the other set is exactly the same. Is it the same? Yeah, it is. We're going to take this one, clean this down, and show you how this one goes together. Right, so this one here is 36, and 36 goes this side. And there's a little yoke in there, it just slots in there. Okay. And this one is 35. 35 goes in that one, and they should join in the middle there. So I'm going to glue those together. I'll come back and we'll have a look, show you what the next pieces are. Right guys, so get that annoying piece in first, because that's very annoying. Then we need number 38, which is this little yoke. I'm going to cut him off, clean him off, and show you where he goes. This is very annoying. There's a little gap in there. There's a little gap in there that just literally slots in there like that. Just trying to take already. So I'm going to glue that in, and then this piece goes in the other side and glues in the other side. So I'm going to sort that out, and then we'll show you where the other piece up and the other one. Right, so you guys, this is a pain in the ass to do. Absolute pain in the ass. Doesn't want to stay here, doesn't want to stay there. So we've got it okay now, but it's not right. That should be sitting flat, and it doesn't want to sit flat. Yeah, seems to be correct at the back, it just doesn't want to sit flat there. I don't know. But anyway, the other one of this is exactly the same, except the piece in the middle is number 37. This one's number 38, the other one's number 37, and on the sprue, they're right next to each other. So I'm going to put this side to dry. We're going to move on to, what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to get the other bits for this balcony, and I'm going to glue the first piece on. I'm going to mess around with it actually, but I don't want to waste too much time doing it. Just paint the hole. But anyway, I'll come back to you in a second. It's crazy. The second one went together perfectly fine. No issues, no nothing. I don't know why. Anyway, there's another piece that goes onto them that joins those two, but for the minute, I'm not going to touch them, just leave them to dry. I'm going to move on to the next part, which is number 59, which is this lovely piece. And number 60, this is on the cloak sprue. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and I'll show you how they go together. And these two pieces are very easy. They go into each other like this. Sorry. They go into each other like that. Yeah, nice and easy. That's what you got, that's what you're looking at. So I'm going to glue those two bits together, and we'll come to the next piece. Now, so the next piece we need is number 61, which is a screaming face. And then a snip it, clean it, show you where it goes. This piece is very straightforward. Just goes in there. So straightforward, it doesn't want to go on. There it goes. Just make sure there's no line across the top there. So the next pieces needed are 58, which is this piece. Now there's two of these pieces. This is a double sprue, so just snip, you need both of them. So snip both of them off, clean them down, and I'll show you where they go. Right, it's very, very straightforward. So you have this piece, you have this little groove at the bottom, that has to be at the bottom. Okay. But that square there goes into there, those two balls go into there, and the other one does the same on the other side. So I'm going to glue that into place, clean the other one down and glue that into place, and then come back to you for the next piece. Right, so here's what we have now. That looks so amazing. Now, what next piece we need is number 57, which is on the cloak sprue, and it's this crazy ass piece. I'm going to snip it, clean it, and I'll show you where it goes. Right, so this piece, very straightforward. Those gaps are for, goes in there. Very simple. So I'm going to glue it into place, and then we'll come back and look at the next pieces. Right, so now we're going back to the balcony. We need 48, which is this piece here. Okay. There's two of these pieces. This is a double sprue. So I'm going to snip them both off, clean them down, and I'll show you how they go on. Right, so pain in the hole. But basically there's a little hole, there's a little pin, and it goes on like that. Okay, now the other one goes the other way, and there's a flat piece, that's how they join in together. So I'm going to glue them on, and then come back and show you how they go onto the big boy itself. Right, alright. Now what happens now is, a bit of glue in that square, there, a little square there, and this bad boy comes up, and there's a square underneath there, that slots in there. I don't know why that's like that. Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Maybe not. Let's go with it anyway. We'll soon see. Now, this guy, that square there, glues into there. Okay. Now, I'm not too sure about these balconies. I don't know if they look right or not. I'll soon find out. But anyway, I'm going to glue them into place, and I'll come back and show you the next pieces. Right, so as you can see, that's looking absolutely fantastic, and that just lowers onto there somehow. We'll figure that out in a minute anyway. The next pieces that we need is number 63 and 64. Where are we? With this 64. Okay, it's one of these pylons. These two sprues that have the same number on them, these two sprues are the same, have the same pylon number, and two number 64s. There's one of them on there. Sorry about looking at the cameras, Jesus fuck. And the next one is 63, which is this one here. Okay, so I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and I'll show you how they go together. Right, so there's a hole and there's a pin. So they just slide into each other like that. So I'm going to glue them together and then come back for the next piece. Right, the next we need is 55, which is this wire. There's two of them. Okay. Now the other side is 54, which is these ones. We're going to do the 55 ones first. Going to clip them, clean them, show you how they go together. Right, so these wires, this side goes in like so. Yeah, there's a little pin and a hole. but the curve has to be at the bottom. Okay, so when you put the other one in, it's the same thing. Curves at the bottom. Yeah. So I'm going to glue those into place, and then I'll glue them onto the main bit and show you how they go on. Right, I've got that one drying just down here at camera shot. It's a pain in the hole to put those pipes in. They don't want to stay in there. So the next one we need is 64, and then it's 62, which is this piece. And then the wires are the same. They are 54, like I said, but these wires go the opposite way. Okay. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and glue them together because it's the same as the other one. And I'll come back to you for the next piece. Right, so the first one of these little pylons gets glued into here. Yeah. You want to do this when the glue is still a little bit tacky. So I'm going to glue that into place, and the other one goes the other side. So then glue those into place, and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so here we are. It's a pain in the hole to put in. Now, this is the next piece to do. Yeah, but they go underneath. I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in not knocking the camera. I'm not interested in those. I don't like them. Same with the canoptic spiders. I put a few bits underneath them, but I don't want loads of bits underneath them. The same with that. I don't like them, so I'm not going to put them in. But they go in under here. There's two little holes, a square hole in there. That's where they go in. I'm not interested in them. Let's see if I can find them on the sprue to show you where they are. For those of you that are interested. They are 45 and 46. Let's have a look, see. Right, so there's 45. And 46 is like a little claw, which is this thing down here. Yeah. There's one on each of the double sprues. Again, I'm not interested in them, so I'm not putting them on. So the next piece that we need is number 44, which is this big piece. Now there's one on each sprue. I'm going to clip them off, clean them down, and show you how it goes on. Okay, so this number 44 slots into there, like so. The other one goes the other side, and then I'll come back to you for the next piece after that. Right, so now this has to be placed on here. Now, there's three guys that go on here. One goes on each platform, and one goes, the Silent King goes in the middle. The thing with the Silent King is he has a big cloak that goes on here first. You then glue him together and glue him into the cloak. Now I'm going to show you how to build all of them as well. Don't panic on that. But I'm not sure if to build them and put them straight onto here as I would do normally, and then just spray the whole thing down and work away, or if to do them, build them separately and keep them separate, and then paint them up and then glue them on. I don't know. So I'm going to glue this on, and then I'm going to have a little think about it and let you guys know. But this has holes there. There's holes there. How close you can see. That just slots into there. So I'm going to glue that into place, and then I'll come back to you for the next bit. Right, so I'm not sure if the battle report's going up before this Let's Build video. I'm not sure, but this is featured in the battle report. In case this one will go up first, this featured in the battle report as is like this. I didn't have time to spray it down. I don't know if to spray it down and do the Silent King and two guys separately, or if to just glue them all on here and spray it down and go that way. I don't know, but I need to put them together anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is build the Silent King. So I'm going to get the parts, see where the parts are on the sprue, because there's about 15 different parts for the three guys, and I'll come back to you with the first piece. I apologise about the rain out there, you can hear it hammering down. So the first pieces we need are 86, 87 and 84, which is this piece here. So I'm going to stick those down, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, so it doesn't tell you which is the front, which is the back, but that's the back, that's the front. This little spiny bit there. Now you've got these two bits, don't cut those off, they need to stay on there. Basically this just sits in there and in there. So the two holes on the leg, they just sit in there. Okay, and that's the same the other side, so I'm going to just give this a once more over because I've noticed a few little horrible casting lines that I missed. Give it once more over with the sanding sponge, and then I'm going to glue those bits together. Okay. Our next piece we need is number 85. I'm going to snip this off, clean this down, but I'm not going to glue it on yet because I want this to dry properly. Yeah. So I'm going to clip that off, clean it down, and I'll come back to you when it's ready to go on. Right, this is a very straightforward piece. So the bottom of that, see the little bit? There's a little bit in there that just slots in there like that. Very straightforward. So I'm going to glue it into place and then come back for the next piece. Right, so the next piece needed is number 88, which is this crazy looking piece. I'm going to snip it out, clean it down, but just be careful because I don't want to snip this end and that end does something weird. So I'd snip this corner, then that corner, and just do it like that. I think that'd be the safest way of getting it out. Right, this bit also is very straightforward. There's a little square in between them there. That little square, see the little square there? That's where that goes. Just slots on there like that. So it sets this back up ready for these plates and everything else. So I'm going to glue that into place and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so the next two pieces we need, number 92, which is this chest piece here, and number 89, which is this arm here. Okay, again, just be careful snipping this arm off. I'm going to snip them off, clean them down, I'll show you how they go together. Right, so this bit threw me off first of all, but basically this little piece here and that little square, that goes into there, and then it lines up like that. Okay, so we're going to glue that into place and then find the next piece and show you what that is and how it goes on. Right, the next one we need is number 90, which is this weird looking thing. Again, that little bit sticking up there, we need to keep that because that goes in the same place as the other one. So there's just 2 points of nipping it from. So just be careful when you're doing that. You're going to snip those off, clean it down, I'll show you how it goes on. Oh, such a weird looking piece. It's about mad. So you've got the little one there, and you've got this little bit here. The little bit goes in there, a little square, same as the other one, and the other bit hooks onto the top part there. Yeah, because that's his neck brace. It's a bit hard for me to show you because it's very fiddly pieces. I'm going to glue them into place and then you'll get a better idea. I'll say you one thing, Games Workshop has overcomplicated that for no reason. That is so complicated. As you can see, that it's not even connected up there properly. It's such a difficult piece to get in. It's meant to connect onto there and it's connected into there as well. Yeah, but it's such a difficult piece to get into place. But that's the gist of how it goes. I think this top piece needs to go down a little bit more, but it's just a pain in the hole. So I'm going to fiddle around a bit off camera just to try and get it into place it needs to be, but that's the gist of it. Okay, pain in the hole. Right, so the next thing we do, the little hole at the top there sits into the little hole there. These two curved bits go around the ball joints of the shoulders, and basically this chest part glues against that chest part. So I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the next piece. Oh wow, I'll tell you what, this guy is I don't know, when you start putting his legs together and his spine, it's all nice and easy. As soon as this top half comes into play, that's the fiddliest part of this model so far. Absolutely shocking. But he's freestanding, so it's nice. It's not a game, not a winner, but right, the next piece we need is number 95, which is this little tabard piece. I'm going to sit it down and clean it down, and be careful because I'd imagine there's some dirty casting lines in that little gap along there. But get that off, clean that down, and I'll show you how it goes on. Right, knocking the camera again, sorry guys. Right, and this little bit here, that's where that slots into. just like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the next piece. Now the next two pieces we need are 96, which is his staff, and 91, which is this mad looking hand here. I'm going to stiff them down, clean them down. There's actually his knuckles and everything on there holding it, so this is just 2 fingers, or one finger looks like. Yeah, 1 finger, which is that little one that comes up. So that and that is where I snip it. I'll come back to you and show how they go together. Right, so this is very straightforward. There's a little bit, a tiny bit on the end there, and it just slots. I wonder if I can get it in there. Slots in just like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place and then come back and show you the next piece. Right, that piece is meant to glue straight onto the arm, but we're going to leave it to dry for a little bit. The next one we need is 94, which is this piece, and 93, which is that piece. Okay, these are both the shoulder pieces. Just one so you can see it. Okay, now 93 is this side of him, 94 is that side of him. When you see it in the instructions, the instructions shows it from behind. Okay, so 93 is this side, 94 is that side. So I'm going to snip them off, clean them down, and show you how. I'll show you how one connects on, but the other one will be exactly the same. Right, there's a little square in the back of him, and this piece has a little square just there. So that glues straight into there. As I said just a while ago, they've overcomplicated building him more than they need to. I'd imagine the other two guys are going to be the same. So anyway, let's get on with him. There we are. They really overcomplicated that. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm actually going to get his head together and put his head together, because it's just his head and then the arms come to his head. Now for his head, we need, where did I see that? Number 98, which is this spiky bit, and where's the rest? Number 97, there's his head there. Okay, obviously that little piece there slots into his forehead there. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, glue the little spike into him, and it's pretty self-explanatory. His head goes in there. So I'm going to glue all that together and glue the arm on. Again, the arm is pretty self-explanatory. There's a little hole there that slots into that little hole there. Yeah. So I'll glue that together and then I'll come back and put the next piece. Right, so I'm going to do the cloak next, but I was going to put a transfer. I didn't realise it had texture on it already. Yeah, it's just nice texture, nice, you know, nice. It's nice. But looks at the instructions, and I look at the way it goes on, and that's what it looks like before the king goes in there. All of that detail there, you're going to lose off the model. So it begs the question to me: why would you bother with that detail? Why not just make a flat panel? And that's what it looks like with him on there. I think it looks great with the cloak, but I don't actually like it. I think it looked better without the cloak, to be honest. That's, you know, my opinion. I'm not going to put the cloak on mine, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to snip off the sprue and show you how it goes together. So those of you that are doing the cloak, you know, will have information how to do cloak. So the three pieces of the cloak, self-explanatory. This piece, and this piece. That's 99, 100, 99, 100, and 101. So I'm going to snip those off and show you how they go together, but I'm not actually going to use them, okay? So the central piece, this is number 100. Number 100 lines up just like that. So the bottom piece here has to be flush with each other, okay? And that's how it lines up. So obviously, look, I haven't even cleaned it properly. I'm no interest in doing this cloak, because I think it's just the only thing for this cloak for me if I did it and did a contrast colour, you know, like I spoke about earlier, it would just break the colour of the whole thing up. Yeah, just a nice big blue contrast on the cloak, or a red contrast, or, you know, Doomfire magenta or something like that, just to really break it up. But I don't see the point of it. Now this one goes in. This one's actually a bit more straightforward. There's two little teeth bits, and it just goes in. Obviously I haven't even cleaned it. But those two teeth just go into there. Okay, and it would line up. So you'd have that side, you'd have the other one the other side, and that would give you your mad cloak. But I just don't see the point of it. And looking how the model goes on, these don't even connect to the model. They just, it's like it's hovering there. I don't like that. At first when I looked at it, I thought it looked fantastic, and the ideas of what I could do with it just raced through my head. And actually having it in my hand, looking at it, there's nice texture on it, don't get it wrong, but I don't like it. For me, that would be great on one of the Cryptex, you know, the one that rides the big round disc, the big round scarab model. It's a big round base, he flies on it. That would be a great cloak coming off of him riding along. But anyway, so I'm gonna glue this arm on now. I was trying to glue it on before I started the cloak, but this little connection point was just very weak. So I'm gonna glue that on, and do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna glue him in there yet. I'm gonna get the two guys glued on, and then I'll glue him on afterwards, as it should be anyway. That was difficult to do. That arm did not want to connect in there. If I left it for probably a day and then came back and done it, it would probably be a solid bit of plastic and it'd be fine. But that was difficult to put together. This one's just going to be just as bad. So the first one I need is number 79, which is this weird looking arm here. Yeah. And number 80, which is this little yoke. Now by the looks of it, there's a little square there, so by the looks of it, that should just slot into that square. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and that is how they go together. Yes, I'm going to glue that into place, and then show you the next pieces. Right, I was wrong about a square. Okay, there's a flat panel edge on this side, and that's where his little finger goes on. Now as you can see, it's not on properly. So let's give it a little nudge to get into place. Not that it's going to matter on the size of this model and detail of this model, but there's his arm. Now, I hope you guys can appreciate how complicated they've made these guys building. There's no need for it. You can have Necron warriors that are literally just, you know, done. These guys should be the same sort of design, just do a few different bits of the arms and stuff like that. Now, before I started doing this guy, I was quite tempted just to get two Necron warriors, put them together, give them the weapon options and put them on there. But I thought, no, because you guys, you know, some of you might not have a few Necron warriors floating around. You might only have these guys, and just to do these guys just for you guys. So I'm just going to do these guys just for all you guys that are watching this and need help building these guys. But this is an absolute nightmare. It started off great, and there was a few annoying pieces, but these guys are really testing my patience. Right, so the next pieces that we need is number 76, which is this crazy ass piece. Again, just be careful when snipping at the bottom there. And number 78, is that on this one? It is. It's this body piece here. So I'm going to snip those two pieces off, clean those down, I'll show you how they go together. Right. So this piece just basically slides in there like that. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Unnecessary, but unfortunately that's what it is. I'm going to glue that into place and I'll come back for the next piece. Right, so this arm that we just built first of all, that literally just goes in like that. So that little rod sticks up the top there, and his arm comes out like that. So I'm going to glue that into place, and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so the next one we need is 82, which is this amazing weapon. Don't get me wrong, the weapons look absolutely amazing. It's just I think they overcomplicated everything on it. An 81, which is this little yoke here, but you can already see this is going to be a pain in the ass. So I'm going to clip them off. Again, it goes in the same way. There's a little hole there for it to go into, and that's actually his thumb. So, yeah, so I'm going to snip it off, glue that into that, and if I can, I'll glue it straight into the body, but I'll come to you then and show you how it goes in, because there's no back on it, so you'll be able to see it. Sorry if you can hear that rain hammering down outside. It's one of those horrible days again. That's how it connects in. Okay, so the little ball joint goes in the socket there. So it gives you that sort of look. It's a complete pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Oh, don't mess around now, come on. Stay still. Right. Next pieces, I believe, are on the normal sprue. So the next pieces are number 65. They say normal sprue, but there's two sprues that are the same. So this is 65, which is the legs. 66, which is this bad boy here. I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, and show you how they go together. Right, so this is probably the simplest part of this guy so far. There's a little semicircle bit there, and that little groove bit. But there's a little semicircle there, and the ball. So the semicircle goes in there, and then just leans forward like that. So I'm going to glue that into place, and then come back for the next piece. The camera lets me focus. What's going on with this camera today? One focus, there we go. Right, so now we need number 83, which is his little tabard. This is on the cloak sprue. So I'm going to snip that off, clean that down, and show you how it goes on. Tabard just sits in there. I don't think that's on right, but it goes in there. Now the next piece is this crazy idea. Now you can see there's like a little square bit in the middle there, yeah? Come on, you fucking stupid camera. And there's a square bit there that just slots in there like that. The arms go into the corner, yeah, it's all nice and easy. Not really. I'm going to glue that into place. As you can probably tell, I'm losing my patience with this model. I know some of you can go fair play, I would have given up already, but I'm doing this model for a purpose. So I can actually get it painted and play with it on the table properly, and anyone else that has got this kit or wants to get this kit can see the difficulties of doing it. Now, if I was building this off camera, it would probably take me about a month to build, because I'll just do a bit here, a bit there. But because I'm doing it on camera for you guys, and I want to get it done as possible because there's more stuff to do, and I've got stipples and I'm not quite well, so it's more and more frustrating for me. But anyway, I'm going to glue that into place, and I'll come back to you again. So here's where we are on this first little guy. I think the staff's in the wrong place, because I think it's meant to be not to block the head. I think it's supposed to be over this way a little bit. This is why I like about plastic glue, because it's still sticky, but I've got a bit of play on it. No, don't start messing around now. No, see, let's pull that off again. Oh dearie me. You can see how frustrating this is. Right, the next two pieces needed are number 68, which is this back piece. That back piece is the same on both of them. And this one here, yeah, 67. But when I'm looking at it, they look like 87, but it's not. It's a little mark on the sprue. 67. Oh, camera is trying to annoy me now. So I'm going to snip those two pieces off, clean them down, and I'll show you how they go together. That little pin there needs to stay, okay? Right, so this piece goes over the back of him first of all, like so. Okay, so you want to try and have it so it's like that. The circle's, the hole's still available for you to get to, but the shoulder pad comes up that way. And then this piece, look at that dirty cast line. The camera, come on. Screw you. That slots into there. Yeah, but you glued the carapace bit in first, so I'm going to go on with that and do that, and then come back to you for his head. So that's what it looks like. Now what we need now is number 77, which is a head. The two heads are there. 77 is the bottom one. Okay, so I'm going to snip that off, and that's, you can see where that goes, straight into that little tiny hole there. So I'm going to glue that into place, and I'll come back and I'll show you where he goes on this bad boy. Right, the 3 tendrils on his back connects into here. Let me get my little pointer. So 1, 2, and the bottom one there, 3. And his staff's supposed to sit somewhere here on the base. I'm not even going to mess around and wait for him to dry. It's dry enough. I'm going to glue him into place, because if there's a problem with the tendrils, which there shouldn't be, if there is, I can then just still have a bit of play with the plastic glue. So I'm going to glue them onto place now, and I'll come back to you ready for the next guy. Right, he's not glued in, because every time I try and glue him in, the backpack is coming off. In all honesty, the way this is built, you should really glue the platform in. Yeah, this is the way I've shown you how to build this, is the way the instructions said. But you should put the platform in here, this round disc. Get this balcony piece, glue this piece into it, and glue this piece into it. Okay, so you made this semicircle. I'll show you on this one. Glue this disc into the base there, and glue this balcony piece here with the middle piece, and this balcony piece here. So the only thing left to do then would be to glue this piece and this piece into it. Glue the little piece here on the side that goes into it as well. So you basically just have this balcony piece, but no platform, because the platform would already be connected into this. Then glue, not him, but the other guy together, and then glue him into the location. Then glue the balcony bits onto it, because trying to get him into there is an absolute nightmare. That his carapace bit keeps coming off. The tendrils are hard to work out where they go on. So it's like, okay, they're going to glue into it. When I glue him into there, they're gluing into it, regardless of if they touch something that's not where they're supposed to be, but they're going into it. I'm this close to just putting him in the bin. Just gluing the Silent King onto it and say, that's what it is. Because, but I'm actually going to carry on and glue the next guy together. So the first piece I need is number 72, which is this weird looking piece, and this weapon. Now the weapons are fantastic. Fantastic detail, fantastic sculpt. But again, it's one of those weird little connections that go in there. Yeah, so that's his thumb. And that bit comes up to support his head. So I'm going to snip those off, clean that into that, and leave it to dry for a minute, and then show you the next pieces. Right, so I've glued the little arm in. Now that has to dry before I go to the next stage and glue that onto the model. I'm not giving up on this. I just need to walk away, because I'm getting very frustrated with it. Very frustrated. And all I have is another one of these annoying bobs to do. And then they glue in, and then Silent King glues on. The plan was, today's Wednesday, the plan was to have this up ready for this evening, but it's not going to be. It's probably going to be tomorrow morning now. But I need to walk away because it's starting to frustrate me. And if it's frustrating you and you're doing something like this, then just take a break from it. Don't keep going. Just take a break. Now, with that said, if I was building this and it wasn't on camera, it'd probably take me about a month to build, and maybe 2 months to paint. But it would be, I wouldn't, and that would be the only thing that I'm doing. I'd just be working on this for the time. But anyway, I'm going to go off and leave it to dry, leave him to dry, and I'll come back to you tomorrow morning. Right, so now it's the following morning. So now I shouldn't have any problems gluing this guy in, because this carapace isn't going to come off on me. The Silent King, I should have no problem gluing him in, because he looks absolutely fantastic. Now that it's dry, and there's no bits falling off, and this arm isn't trying to come away from the staff and all that business, they're actually fantastic models, but they just made it very difficult to do them. So I'm going to glue him in and the Silent King into their places, and then we'll crack on with the rest of this guy. Right, back to the other guy now. See, those two are so difficult to get in there. Like I said yesterday, they should have done the balcony bit first, the base, and then on the balcony, you put the balcony separate, or if you're doing it, do the base bit first and then do the balcony separate, and then when you get the men in there, glue the balcony bit on. But I'll go over that at the end again. But anyway, 69 and 71 are two next pieces. I'm going to clip them, clean them, and show you how they go together. Surprise, surprise. This is the same as the other one. It just slides in. Okay. So I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the next pieces. Right, next one we need is 74. Camera. So I'm going to snip that off, clean that down, and I'll show you how that goes on. This is the same thing as the other one, except he has his weapon in the other arm. So the ball joint sits up underneath the shoulder there. It gives you the little bit coming through to support his head. So I'm going to glue that into place, then come back for the next piece. Right, so the other arm goes in exactly the same way. Yeah. I'm going to glue that into place. I think the camera keeps trying to focus on this, and I don't know. Anyway, I apologise, it keeps focusing out. I'm going to glue this in place, and we'll come back for the next pieces. Right, this is the easiest part of this guy now. We need number 65, which is the other leg. We need number 66, which is this piece down here again. And we need, that's two pieces we need first of all. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down. They go together the same way as the other guy did, so I'm going to glue them together. Then we need number 75, which is, don't need you, which is this little tabard piece again. So I'm going to glue that into place as well, same as the other guy. And then I'll come back to you and with the next piece. Now, with all the easy parts out of the way, we're back to the most annoying parts now. He goes into there the same way as the other guy. So I'm going to glue him in. Then we'll come back for his back piece of his spine. Right, as you've guessed it, we're back to the two annoying pieces, which is 67 the spine and 68 the top piece. Now they go on the same way. This goes on first, slides up onto him, and then this goes in with that little pin sticking in that hole in the back of him. So I'm going to glue that in, then come back for the next piece. Right, the last piece needed is his head, which is number 70. It's going to go in the same place, you know where it goes on this guy. I've actually switched to super glue because it's starting to really annoy me. So I'm going to glue his head on, I'm going to glue him into place, and then I'm going to come back to you then. Right, this is the hardest model I've ever built. All of this is fine. It's the three guys on top that are an absolute nightmare to build. Let's get a good shot of it. That's how big it is. It's absolutely huge. Now, this guy, his head's gone a bit manky, a bit weird on me, like he's looking over this way. It's not a big issue. But again, I think his staff's meant to be inside the balcony. There's two things I would say to you if you're building this guy, this model. Build the guys first. So put this guy's staff arm and that arm together to one side. Silent King's arm with the weapon to one side. Then the next guy the same. Then do his body up to the point where you need to add the staff. Same with him, same with him. The next day then, finish the rest of his body and add it all together. Yeah, and same as the other two. So you have all three of them ready to go. Then that's the first thing I'd say. The next thing is, these round little discs here they stand on. Okay, not the Silent King one, but the other two you beside. I would do those first as I said earlier, and do the balcony last. So when you get to the point of this is all complete, the platforms go in, you then glue the men straight in because you've got more of a play space. Trying to get them underneath this and above this and in that angle is absolutely a nightmare. I would give this model 10 plus for difficulty. It's absolutely, and it's not even the model, it's the guys that are actually the hardest and trying to get them into the angles. You imagine if I put the cloak on there as well, that would just been, oh. But I think it looks better without the cloak. I mean, you guys just comment below and let me know what you think. But guys, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Costs you absolutely nothing. Turn your notifications on. And I'll show you some pretty pictures. But I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.